And moving on to our next story, Russia is a key security ally of many African nations, especially the ones in the Sahel. Now, it has made a big accusation against the ex-colonial ruler France. Moscow has accused French President Emmanuel Macron of teaming up with terrorists to destabilize Africa. The Russian intelligence has released a whole statement targeting Macron. Moscow has accused Paris of preparing neo-colonial coups to destabilize the African continent. The statement said, and I quote, "Emmanuel Macron's administration is feverishly seeking opportunities for political revenge in Africa."
Whether inspired by the American operation to capture Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, or imagining himself as the arbiter of the fate of African peoples, Macron has authorized his special services to launch a plan to eliminate undesirable leaders in Africa.
Russia also said that France was getting help from the Ukrainian regime. Moscow accused Kiev of providing the local terror groups in Africa with drones and instructors. The Russian intelligence said that Macron's alleged moves were driven by the losses that France was facing in Africa. Now, African countries, especially the Sahel nations, have turned away from France and have moved closer to Russia since the juntas came to power in a series of coups from 2020 to 2023. Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are bound by their anti-West sentiment. Now, they left the West African regional bloc, ECOWAS, and they formed their own alliance of Sahel states. The Sahel nations said that they wanted to claim their sovereignty and they would no longer let the West control them. Now, Moscow has said that now that Paris is losing its grip over Africa, it is sponsoring terror groups to establish pro-France leaders on the continent. Now, the latest terror attack on Niger's airport was also blamed on Paris.
We remind the sponsors of these mercenaries, notably Emmanuel Macron, Patrice Talon, and Alyson Ouattara. We've heard them bark quite enough. Now they should get ready to listen to us.
Moscow has confirmed that Russian supporters helped Niger to repel the attack, which was claimed by the Islamic State. Now, Russian intelligence also said that France was involved in the January 3rd assassination attempt of Burkina Faso's President Ibrahim Traoré. Now, moving on to the fuel blockade in Mali now, Moscow said that France was behind the attacks on fuel trucks and the only purpose of terrorizing civilians was to overthrow President Assimi Goïta. Now, Russian intelligence also said that Macron's administration was sowing chaos in the Central African Republic and in Madagascar. Paris is yet to respond to all of these allegations, but the French influence wanes. Russia has been making big gains in Africa. Russia's African Corps has taken over from the Wagner paramilitary group across the continent. According to Moscow, the Corps helps fighting terrorists and strengthening regional stability in the Sahel. However, the security situation across the Sahel still remains grim. Now, Africa seems to have turned into a battleground, with Russia and Western powers fighting for influence over the continent. How will the growing rift between Moscow and the West affect the stability and the future of Africa? Now, that remains to be seen.
The world doesn't fit in boxes, so why should your news? From battlefields to negotiation tables, from internet outrage to real-world injustice. The conversations everyone is having and the ones they're avoiding. It's the same show, but this new year, Firstpost America gets a new look. I'm Kerry Johnston, and this is Firstpost America.